I yield Senator Cornyn. I think you're taking over.
Thank you all for being here, and my comments will not reflect on you or your organization at all, but I do think it's important for Congress and the American people to understand the nature of this threat. I'm not the only one who's been at a sporting or entertainment event recently that's seen the incredible use of drones operating sort of like an orchestra and doing things that sort of years ago perhaps we could only imagine. But the fact of the matter is that we are not prepared for this technology. The truth is, like every technology, it can be used for good or ill. But the fact is, and I think Mr. Willoughby, you mentioned the Operation Spiderweb that the Ukrainians used against the Russian Federation in June of 2025, where they literally transported hundreds of drones and vehicles to evade air defense systems, but then release the drones on cue to attack and then bomb a fleet of Russian bombers, knocking out a significant percentage of their bombing fleet. I was reflecting on your testimony when I was also thinking about a little over a year ago, President Trump was a target of an assassination attempt. The Secret Service, who's not represented here today, when we asked them about drones, apparently the shooter had a drone and used that for purposes of surveillance before he actually got in place and took the shot. And I asked about anti-drone technology for the Secret Service, and they said they had none. They're present. And their own drones were apparently not operational for some reason. It is true that the Iranian regime currently has a death warrant out for President Trump, and the FBI has interrupted and disrupted a number of assassination attempts against President Trump. Isn't that right, Mr. Torfey?
The FBI has thwarted many attack plots using drones and otherwise, and we believe that is the FBI doing what the FBI does best: intelligence, investigations, undercover operations, and only when all else fails, we have the technical countermeasures to protect tactical events.
Well, the FBI does good work, but as you point out, with 90,000 special events around the country each year, you can't be everywhere, and you depend on state and local officials to help out. We saw that actually at Butler, Pennsylvania, a little over a year ago, but when the Secret Service delegated its responsibilities to protect the President of the United States, obviously that failed to accomplish that objective. But it strikes me, Mr. Willoughby, that given this incredible technology that the Ukrainians demonstrated just this summer against the Russians, that we are not prepared to deal with this threat to either at a mass sporting event or entertainment event, or even to protect the President of the United States if an adversary decided to use drone swarms to do him harm. Do you agree with me?
I do think it comes down to capacity, which is why we continue to reiterate the need for additional entities that can operate this type of equipment and protect within their jurisdictions the events and the citizens that are there.
Yeah, it's not, I know Mr. Hardy and Mr. Trophy had talked about authorities, but of course those only are useful once something bad happens. An investigation occurs, a prosecution occurs. But when it comes to actually preventing harm to the American people, whether it's a sporting event, entertainment event, or even at a rally, like the one at Butler, Pennsylvania, it strikes me that a determined adversary has all the tools they need using drone technology to accomplish their goal. And we're not prepared to deal with that at this point. You're right? Is that correct?
Yeah, again, I think the authority does afford us the opportunity to gain the needed air domain awareness, right? You can't stop a threat that you don't know is there, right? You don't know a drone is there unless you have the advanced detection equipment there alongside a trained operator to be able to differentiate a media drone from a bad drone or an adversarial drone. And so again, just to re-echo the sentiment that we can't be everywhere all the time, and there are ways for us to improve our own operations, to include the Secret Service and other components, but we need additional partners to be able to tackle this type of threat scenario. If Operation Spiderweb were to occur domestically here, we would need additional partners out there to be able to identify and then prevent those drones from carrying out their attack.
Well, Senator Moody, like I, was Attorney General of our states, large states, and we worked, of course, with not only federal partners, but also state and local partners. And when you talk about resource constraints, that defines really the way that state and local partners operate. So it's the federal government that has the resources, but again, I know this is not intended as a criticism of any of you or your organizations, but it just strikes me we are woefully unprepared, and I know the state and local authorities don't have the resources they need in order to deal with this potential threat either. So this is not just a question of having the proper authorities and prosecuting people who violate those laws that we may pass, but then operationally, how do we prevent the harm that this new technology is capable of inflicting?
I think we have a bipartisan consensus that Senator Moody is next. Or is it Senator Britt?
Well, thank you. I always love it when I get to...
During a recent Senate hearing, Senator John Cornyn, Republican Texas, raised concerns about the growing threat of drone swarm attacks and how unprepared the United States is to handle them. He began by pointing out that his comments were not directed at the officials present, but instead at the broader issue of national security. Cornyn described how drones are now being used in impressive displays at sporting and entertainment events, showing how far the technology has advanced. Yet, while drones can serve positive purposes, they also carry serious risks when misused. Cornyn highlighted the Ukrainian military's Operation Spiderweb in June 2025, where hundreds of drones were deployed to evade Russian air defenses before being released in a coordinated strike that destroyed a significant portion of Russia's bomber fleet. He contrasted this with weaknesses at home, recalling that during an assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump, the attacker used a drone for surveillance. When asked about the Secret Service's counter-drone capabilities, Cornyn said they had none at the time, and their own drones were not operational. The senator reminded the panel that Iran's regime has an active death warrant against Trump, and the FBI has disrupted multiple assassination plots. While he acknowledged the FBI's strong investigative work, Cornyn stressed that with more than 90,000 large public events held in the U.S.